The injuries, yes, they are starting to pile up a bit. Arkansas coach Sam Pittman announced today that preseason All-American safety Jalen Catalon will miss the remainder of the season with a shoulder injury. This is an injury Catalon suffered in the second half of the season opener against Cincinnati. It's another tough break for Catalon, who also missed 7 games last season with a shoulder injury. Speaking of season-ending injuries, some bad news for South Carolina as they have lost 2 defensive starters for the season. That occurred during Saturday's loss against Arkansas. Starting middle linebacker Mo Kaba and defensive end Jordan Strawn both suffered ACL injuries in the game. This is the second ACL injury for Strawn. And it doesn't get much easier for South Carolina hosting number 1 Georgia on Saturday.
Arkansas, you're going to get into another Womp Fest with Arkansas. Right now, given what you showed me on Saturday,
that's an L. Yeah.
Sorry about it.
The final score is 44-30.
Welcome back to Thinking Out Loud. We're as rowdy as a pair of hogs on the loose, thinking about the Arkansas Razorbacks and their 44-30 win over the South Carolina Gamecocks. When was the last time, by the way, that Arkansas managed to beat South Carolina?
I don't know. I think you're going to tell me, though.
Yeah, 2011. It's been a minute. It's been a minute. That's correct.
I missed that this summer.
Thank you.
I'm glad we have that back.
I know. Hearing Sam Pittman just gets me so hyped, by the way. I also like this. You know what you get with 1 week of Arkansas? You just get hog. You get running.
Whole hog, baby.
Right? You get rush offense. You get big dudes out of the backfield, and you get a sturdy defense. You know what we got this week against South Carolina? The exact same thing, okay? Yes, Spencer Rattler put on a show. But what you've seen is that Rocket Sanders has done a lot to replace some of the production lost by the graduation of the legendary, the hog god himself, Treylon Burks.
I think that with Arkansas, they are who we thought they were, and I mean that in, like, the best way possible.
Yeah.
Right? Like, this is what I expected from Arkansas. I expected them to be competent. I expected them to womp, which they did.
That's true. That's true.
5 rushing touchdowns in this game against South Carolina. It's the most rushing touchdowns that they've had in a game since 2016. They are supersized. They are beefy. They are running hog wild all over you. That's what I want. That's what I expect. And I'm glad that we have it this year. Again.
Yeah, I mean, I think what you want to see down the road, okay, we know you could run the ball, okay? We got beef out of the backfield, okay? We have KJ Jefferson, we have Rocket Sanders. What you want to see is, I think you want to see them start to diversify a little bit more, okay?
Well, I don't even know if I'd say I need that, because what I think I see from Arkansas is I see continuity. They are one of the few Power 5 programs that bring back coach and both coordinators for the, I believe, 3rd year in a row. That's impressive, but it means that you can have this continuity. You can do some of the same things that you've done over the last couple of years, and you have a defined identity that you don't have to change. And that, for me, for Arkansas, is really impressive.
I mean, I like it. It's good fundamentals. I just want to see a spoiler on this muscle car, okay? I want to see a little bit of a passing game here if we can get it.
Out in Arkansas, where I spent yesterday, and I'll tell you about that in a minute, Sam Pittman weighing in on the return of Bobby Petrino. I was in Little Rock, and they were already getting the women and children indoors with Bobby Petrino coming across the border for Saturday's game.
3, Arkansas, new swag is their same old swag. And what do I mean by that? Offensively, they can score in multiple ways at this point. They can run the ball with Raheem Sanders all they want. Then you got the quarterback in KJ Jefferson who can run it and throw it. He's got wide receivers that are playing their way into being great players right now. A very deadly offense. And their old swag is defensively. Barry Odom and the DNA of that team does not change. The players do, but their mentality does not.
Hop up out the bed.
There we go. Okay.
How about Arkansas, who sits at number 10 in the country? Of course, wins over ranked Cincinnati and SEC opponent South Carolina. We good with this? We good with Arkansas at 10?
I like Arkansas being at 10. Only reason why, well, not only reason, but they get the win over Cincinnati, who was 23rd. They get the win over South Carolina, but both of those are home games. So if we're talking specifically, do I think that Kentucky should be over Arkansas? I absolutely think that Kentucky should be ahead of Arkansas. My issue is I think Tennessee could could move up just a little bit.
Who's cooking so far through week 2? Drea, you look at Jaden Daniels, quarterback at LSU. He's got the highest ranked QBR out of the SEC. Small sample size, though, of course, after that Southern victory.
Yeah.
Juice Wells at South Carolina.
Yeah. Rocket Sanders, 273 rushing yards. We got a lot of players that are getting it done. And it's extremely fun to watch. That's why we love covering SEC football.
We love cooking. Time now for Bush's recipe for success.
Roll that beautiful beam footage.
There it is. Who's cooking for you?
Drew Sanders is absolutely cooking. Listen to the stat line. 11 tackles, 3 tackles for loss, 2 sacks, and 2 forced fumbles. If that is not cooking on defense, I don't know what is. Arkansas can get them some linebackers.
Arkansas, LBU?
Yeah.
Meanwhile, Missouri State travels to Fayetteville to take on number 10 Arkansas. The trip marks head coach Bobby Petrino's first time back since his infamous departure in 2012.
And Sam Pittman arguably gave us the soundbite of the week. Let's go ahead and take a watch.
Everybody always looks at the negative all the time, and I tweeted out that we were number 10, and then I got some responses, well, it doesn't matter. Well, I ain't tweeting it out to you guys or a 50-year-old man. I'm trying to use it as recruiting, so I really don't care what the guy says, you know what I mean? I'm trying to recruit, not him or them. I recruit. And so we're proud of it. Sure, we're proud of it. And that doesn't mean that that's where we want to stay, or it's hard to be in the top 10. We've done it 2 years in a row. The kids have done it, and the assistant coaches have done it. Yeah, I'm proud of it. Sure am. Whenever it came out, I was smiling ear to ear. Now, what that means right now, it means that we're number 10 today, and I tweeted it out. I'm proud of it.
PB, he's not recruiting you and your 50-year-old brethren. He's trying to get guys like me that are younger.
I'm only 43.
But you're like 63. And I love that we brought that up because we have some great debates today, including how long you want to live. Like, this was one of the most shocking conversations that we had today was your expectation for your life. We'll bring that up later on in the show. Because I also have some issues with technology I'd like to bring up later on, too. But there's 2 things that I take away from that soundbite with Sam Pittman. One, first and foremost, the guy is incredibly lovable, right? He came on our show yesterday on Sirius XM. Yeah. You can't help but love him, and if you played for him, I imagine you'd want to run through a wall.
Go to bat for him.
And the fact that he's, like, literally this week, we have Kentucky and Arkansas in the top 10, which I don't think a lot of people would have expected this early in the season, or even for that matter, this last couple years with where Arkansas's program was when Sam Pittman took over. But I think it leads to a great topic too, and just you can't help but like Arkansas, right? Even if who was Arkansas's biggest rival?
I mean, was it Missouri?
That's kind of a manufactured rivalry. Maybe old days, Texas.
I mean, LSU to a certain extent because the battle for the boot.
You're an LSU guy. Can you not help but love Arkansas and what they're doing?
Well, I mean, again, the only time I've ever told my mother to shut up was actually after an LSU Arkansas game. So there's a little bit of a rough feeling for me. That was 2007. Peyton Hillis, Felix Jones, Darren McFadden. Yes, after they lost, my little Cuban mom going, "Oh, it's okay, Peter." I'm like,
We've
"No,
had her
Mom,
on the show
shut
before.
Up. It's not okay."
How could you tell that sweet lady to shut up?
I've got issues.
You're a bad guy.
I am a bad guy. Burning question number 1. Arkansas is hosting Missouri State this weekend. Of course, that is the return after a decade of Bobby Petrino, and of course, the embarrassing way that he left Fayetteville in a neck brace and a whole motorcycle accident. What do you expect that reaction to be like?
Well, I think they're going to make fun of him. And I think it's been interesting this week because Sam Pittman has been very complimentary of Bobby Petrino's time at Arkansas and what he was able to do to help build that program's visibility and some of that residual carrying over to the success they've had now. I will say this, though. I was doing games back when Petrino was at Fayetteville, and they were on the cusp of being a breakthrough program nationally, I felt like, right?
11 wins back
Ryan
in
Mallett and that offense was one of the best in the country, and I felt like abruptly threw the brakes on when he got into the trouble and ended up having to leave. I think there is a little resentment for the way that the program was left because of his, you could call it maybe irresponsibility, perhaps. So I think they'll have some fun. I think you'll see some neck braces, maybe some Vaseline
over
faces.
and under of 2,000 neck braces in the stadium.
I mean, you're talking about 80-something thousand people. I'll take the over.
I would probably, I don't know, but that's a lot of neck braces.
Where would you go to get a neck brace?
I assume you would go to like a Walgreens or a CVS or something like that, like a drugstore, and be like, hey, listen, I need some type of a neck brace. I just don't know if there's going to be 2,000 people committed enough to a joke that's a decade. Because even like in the student section, how many of the students that actually know what happened? Like they were 10 years old when it happened.
Our guy Clint Sterner said that Sam Pittman should ride out on his Harley and have his wife on the back and park that thing midfield.
That's why I love the WWE. That's when I knew I officially had an old man moment this week, is that I actually said it on Twitter that I hope Arkansas fans are actually classy because there's so much good mojo happening around. I understand. I'm the biggest troll there ever is. And that's when I knew kids have softened me as a human being, because like 10 years ago, I'd have been like, I would have actually showed up in this show in a neck brace and like the whole like Bobby Petrino like scarred makeup type situation.
The best part about that whole deal was that he tried to pull it off like everything was cool. You know, picture him smiling with a neck brace and the shiny face.
You know why we're talking about this? Missouri State and Arkansas. Missouri State led by Bob Petrino. The former Arkansas head coach comes rolling back in on family weekend at Arkansas.
And a hush comes over the crowd.
He's, Bob is really, he went to Louisville, had some run, it went sideways there, but he's turned Missouri State around. They had a tremendous run before the motorcycle accident. He's going to get a greeting from the students today. Some of it's going to involve the neck brace and the motorcycle wreck. He's ready for it. I will say this. If there's a guy prepared to handle slings and arrows, it would be Bob Petrino, I would think.
Absolutely.
Listen, we thought we'd have a little bit of fun. We know that Alabama, Georgia, however you want to put those two, we'll see how the season shakes out. They're the top of the SEC, maybe the top of college football. But how about who is the number 3 team in the SEC? So we've got a few contestants here on this beautiful game show. I've got a great mic. I'm going to be a cheesy game show host, so please bear with me for all of that. As we go through, we've got our Mr. Paul Feinbaum over here behind the curtain. He can't see who these 3 teams are. Paul is going to pick a winner, and maybe whoever he picks, they're going to go out for a nice romantic dinner. So let's begin with team number 1. The teams are going to make their case, and then Paul gets to choose. Team number 1, go ahead.
Well, number 1, I lead the SEC in scoring. I also have a possible Heisman candidate at quarterback. I have the number 1 receiver in the SEC and possibly the country. Also, my defense is vastly improved and has disrupted 14 dropbacks, so that is the 6th most in the SEC. We also have 3 interceptions, which is tied for 1st in the league.
Wow. Okay, that's the case from team number 1. Just a quick reaction from Mr. Paul Feinbaum here.
Somewhat underwhelmed.
All right. He's hard to impress. Team number 2, take it away.
Hello, Paul. I'd like to tell you about my team. We're the top.
It's like you have experience.
We have one of the most dynamic quarterbacks in the entire country, period. Not even close. Lead the conference with 9 sacks, so we get after the quarterback as well. It's a good defense. That's called balance, and we lead the SEC in turnover margin. And oh, by the way, our head coach, if you had to choose one to have a beer with, it'd be him.
Ooh, beer is not included in this win, Paul. Whoever you end up choosing. By the way, Paul, whoever you end up choosing, they will also win a free car. So that's what you guys have to look forward to. Team number 3, make your case.
Can we just be open and honest about, option number 1? It was tragically exaggerated, okay? I mean, the number 1 receiver in the country, top Heisman candidate. I mean, what are we talking about? Paul, let's just be honest about this, all right? My team, 4 straight bowl victories, 3-1 versus ranked opponents over the last 2 seasons. 2nd best defense in the SEC on 3rd down. And by the way, maybe the most important thing, easiest remaining schedule in the SEC.
Sounds like you're living in the past there.
One of the, well, guess what? When you look at the past, sometimes it repeats.
Don't bring your exes into the new relationship.
Well, one thing you also need to remember. They were called soft in the last couple of weeks, and they have proved some people wrong.
Okay. All right. So now Paul's going to make his big selection from one of these three teams. Paul Feinbaum, what are you thinking right now? How difficult is this for you to make these choices?
I thought the last two were very good, but I'm gonna dig deep into my inner JoJo.
I like where this is going.
And go with Jordan.
Oh,
yeah!
Jordan wins. Paul, guess who you picked? You want to guess? What team?
I'm gonna say Arkansas.
You picked Arkansas.
Yes! Call dogs, baby.
Oh my goodness. Okay. Wow, there were rocks in that.
You were supposed to
All
give
right,
me the
so
rocks.
Mr. Paul Feinbaum chooses the beautiful Arkansas. Can you guys hug it out? This is a big moment.
Receive in white. We are underway. And we will get our first look at this Bears offense. And a Bobby Petrino coach team, you know they like to throw the football. That's exactly what Shelley does here out of the backfield. It's Jacardier right. They stick with the run game right. Swallowed up immediately. Drew Sanders in on the scene. 1st and 10, trying to get into Razorback territory. They go back to Jacardier right, but this time met immediately. 8th play of the opening drive for Missouri State. Shelley, clean pocket, plenty of time, but he didn't get it away. Zach Williams broke free.
And Zach Williams off the edge took advantage of that coverage sack. A beautiful job. Zach's dad, Ricky, played linebacker here back from 84 to 87, back when I was at old LSU with the Tigers. Look at Shelley and what he's so capable of doing, of moving and trying to find that open receiver.
You know, a year ago, Shelley and the Bears hung around with Oklahoma State, lost 23 to 16 in Stillwater. Bryce Stevens on the return, turns the corner into Bears territory. His team 48 transfers, 26 from the FBS level. Shelley's in trouble. Taken down, 2nd sack of the day. Jordan Dominic got in there quickly. They continue to run the football like they have to start the season. Throwing it on 1st down. Jefferson puts it right on the money. Into the secondary to Matt Landers.
Trickeration on him, but you can't do that with an Arkansas team. I know it's hard up in the middle of the tackles getting some yards, but when you start going horizontal in the run game, you're not going to get anything, and you're going to lose yards like they did right there.
That are stealing the show early, Brian.
And we're seeing missed tackles. You can't do that. They've got to sharpen that up as we come back.
Jefferson taking a shot deep on 1st and 10. Arkansas looking for the immediate answer. Did the ball cross the plane before it popped out on the goal line?
Well, they better hope it crossed the line, because if it didn't, that's a touchback.
Is the knee down before the ball pops free?
Luckily that elbow hits, because I don't think the knee is down, but the elbow hits, he's down before that ball pops loose, because that could have been a catastrophe. Because if it goes through the end line like that, it's live, but that elbow hits.
Yeah, he's down. Loose. He's down with that elbow inside the 1. Shelley steps up, delivers a strike. Spun around, Booker didn't get to the line to gain, got about half of the yardage he needed. Jason Shelley have Missouri State up 17 to nothing. Take another look. Air Shelley, Bears up big. They've got to get Rocket Sanders going, only 5 carries for 12 yards. Jefferson throws a dart. That'll wake this offense up a little, finds Matt.
They need to continue that, but not get too greedy too quick.
Finally, we have liftoff. Rocket Sanders into the Missouri State secondary.
The series, the passing game set up the running game, took advantage of it.
And finally getting into this up-tempo that wears defenses down. Sanders spinning his way. Right back to Sanders. Third carry in a row. Just shy of the 5-yard line. Hazelwood in motion. Give it to Sanders. Untouched into the end zone. Exactly what Arkansas needed.
And if this is the first drive of the game, I don't think we're surprised.
After only 12 on the previous 4 drives. Arkansas finally made it look easy. They're still down 10 as we near the midway point of the second quarter. Rocket Sanders was the go-to guy on the last drive. 55 yards, play action. Jefferson delivers a perfect ball right on the money to Jaden Hazelwood. Bounced out of bounds. 2 in the backfield for Jefferson, 1 on each hip. Gave it off to Hazelwood. Gain of 9. Will bring up a 3rd and 1. Flipping's all the praise. Team back in the top 10. Playing at home for the first time in a decade. Defense bows up there. That's exactly what they needed.
They only bring 4 right there, but there's nobody on the edge for Jaden Johnson.
Trying to hold Arkansas to just 7 in this first half. A Razorbacks offense has been on fire to start the season. That's more like it for the Hogs. Matt Landers breaks free. Gain of 45.
And a nice little throw and catch.
Jefferson to throw again. Clean pocket. Delivers it right on the money. Here's Hazelwood into the end zone. Touchdown, Arkansas. The Hogs go 2 plays, 85 yards.
Wide open on the 7 route out in the little soft spot of that cover 2 zone, and no one was there. Very good execution, well designed.
Shelley in trouble. Down he goes. Jordan Dominic.
Against Cincinnati in the opener. Started for Georgia Tech last year, 14 games over 4 years. And takes advantage of that right there. Bam.
Big hit.
Hello.
Third down to start this third quarter. Jefferson darts it in. Play action, pressure coming. Selden Manning takes it back into Arkansas territory. Big hit after the gain of 10. Inside their own 10-yard line. Here's Rocket Sanders. A burst of speed. He's got the first down and more.
But they're still trailing this game by 3 points, so they've got to execute and finish out this drive.
Jefferson, another quick hitter, finds Landers, breaks 2 tackles into Missouri State territory. 3rd and 4, Jefferson picks out the tight end, Trey Knox.
Kudos to that Mississippi State secondary, Missouri State secondary.
3rd and 15, Jefferson decides to tuck and run, trying to pick up the first down with his feet. That's an easy call, horse collar, and this will be a first down for Arkansas. KJ Jefferson steps up and makes a big play.
Tied up.
Here's the sophomore Cam Little. Confident kick right through to tie it at 17. Shelley. Dangerous throw. Hudson Clark. What'll Bobby Petrino dial up on a 3rd and 1? Right, drilled. What a stop. Drew Sanders.
Oh my goodness.
Lumber.
What was that? Was a decleater of decleaters right there, baby.
Take another look at this.
Right there. That's why we watch the game.
That
right
reaction
there.
says it all.
Oh my goodness, that was awesome. Let's watch him get elevated. Woohoo! Baby, come to Papa. Woo! Gives me some goosebumps up here.
Jefferson keeps it on first down, ahead of steam into Missouri State territory.
Well, that they do that and they roll the dice and get them in 2nd, 4th, 5.
Quarterback keeper with Shelley on 2nd and 5 goes nowhere. Landon Jackson was not fooled. Sniffed it out, made the stop. Shovel pass. Here's Sanders. A burst of speed. Rocket Sanders steps on the gas. A foot race. Touchdown. 73-yard liftoff for Rocket Sanders.
There's the answer. It's a 2-yard flip to a guy named Rocket. And what does he do? He backs up his nickname and takes it the distance.
Another look, Rocket Sanders, 115 yards in the game, 73 of them coming on this run. Boy, did Arkansas need that. Razorbacks back within 3. You know, the home crowd has reached full voice, and it leads to a big sack. Landon Jackson.
As versatile as you are at quarterback, it does not matter when you have 2 guys coming at you. There's nothing you can do except secure that football. And that's the only option he had in that scenario.
12th man has come alive. Shelley under pressure again. Down he goes. Drew Sanders delivers.
And that's a play in the first half. Doesn't let it happen again. Does a great job of winning out on the edge. But we still have an Arkansas team that has to respond. They're still trailing in this ballgame. They have not led 1 second of this game. And it feels like they're moving back into position, but they got to execute.
Well, they've got the crowd behind them. Played a big factor on that last drive. Here's Bryce Stevens trying to find a hole. Makes a few man miss. Turns the corner, and he's gone! Bryce Stevens, 80-yard touchdown, fires Arkansas in front.
Man.
Take another look at the punt return.
Just an excellent job of setting it up, almost like a kickoff return where he works to his left and the coverage shifts. He gets back to his right side and finds the hole. And there we are, much relieved.
Down he goes.
A great move out on the edge against their captain, Beebe, number 73, their left tackle. Barely slows him down.
For Missouri State, he's Bobby Petrino's son-in-law, needing a stop on 3rd and 12. Jefferson steps up, unloads, it's caught for a Hogs first down. Trey Knox. Both he and Jefferson have career highs for yards tonight, and Sanders adds to his tally. Rocket Sanders takes off again inside the 10. What a run of 43 yards for Rocket Sanders.
The numbers on both sides of the football, I would have never thought would make it out a 2-score game, but
Jefferson takes it himself. Touchdown, Arkansas.
Very upset. You can see him on the sidelines, but they're going to take a lot of positives from this football game without a doubt.
Drew Sanders ends the night on a sack. The 8th sack of the night for this Arkansas defense.
And they talked about Sanders earlier this week. That they said Sanders would have come here out of high school, but their program wasn't good enough.
Long embrace between
that was
Sam
a nice
Pittman
exchange there. Wow.
And Bobby Petrino. Tara Talmadge mentioned at the start of our show the respect Sam Pittman has for Bobby Petrino and what he did here at Arkansas when he first took the job. He used to show Bobby Petrino footage to recruits saying, look, we've been to a Sugar Bowl not too long ago. We've been to a Cotton Bowl. not too long ago.
And everybody, like I said at the start of the
saw next week, they've got a big one against A&M. Look who was back. Bobby Petrino in Fayetteville on Family Night, head coach of FCS Missouri State. Raheem Sanders, 73 yards. Arkansas needed a fight in this.
For a lot of the night, it looked like Missouri State was the best team, but Sanders had a big game, 167 on the ground, 2 catches, 75, and a touchdown.
You get the sense that Arkansas finally woke up and Bryce Stevens just finally put it away.
They got plays in special teams, none bigger than this one right here. And their defense also, that 3-2-6 scheme that Barry Odom likes to run, their D coordinator, it can be real tricky. They got 3 takeaways in the game. They survived, they advanced, and now a massive game against Texas A&M.
Yeah, kind of a theme on this Saturday.
But the debate for number 3 comes down to a few teams, including Arkansas. Sam Pittman's squad taking on Bobby Petrino and Missouri State. Bobby Petrino's tenure ended in rough style back in 2012 after what we believe is to be a motorcycle crash, and much more on top of that. KJ Jefferson, Keytron Jackson, 64 yards in Arkansas, down to the 1. Next play, handoff to Rocket Sanders. Oh no, it's a fumble and the Bears have it.
Yeah, something that Arkansas has done a really nice job of this year is protecting the football. Only had 1 turnover coming into this ball game, but today very uncharacteristic. Gave the ball up 3 times and didn't create any. The real reason why Missouri State was even in the ball game.
That's exactly right. How about a 10-0 Missouri State lead? Jason Shelley, senior quarterback, played well, 24 yards. Look at him shed a tackler and get to the end zone. 17-zip fight Petrinos. This can't happen.
That's Papa Poole.
This cannot happen.
Yeah, and let's not forget who else isn't out there. Jalen Catalon's not out there as well.
That's a good point. They gave up a bunch of yards in the secondary today to Missouri State.
Jaden Hazelwood then from Jefferson, and it's a 17-14 deficit now. And then third quarter. Oh boy, Tequila, watch your guy, Drew Sanders.
Oh my boy, Drew, my boy.
Oh, goodness.
I don't think he saw him.
Wow. He'll remember him now. 4th and 1. Missouri, oh my goodness, he got behind him. Jason Shelley to Tyrone Scott, 47 yards. None of you guys will probably remember 4th and 1, James Brown for Texas.
I was thinking the same thing. Really? Yes.
How about that?
You know why? Because I got Florida in the national championship.
Oh, that's why you remember it.
The shovel pass here.
The shovel.
Sanders.
Yeah, it's a shovel. I don't get the.
It was not a rushing.
I know. I thought I won Saturday stud with that one right there.
That was a great call. They saw the blitzers coming on the outside, and it just opened up the middle of the field.
And then Bryce Stevens on a Missouri State punt. Bryce Stevens. Look at this, huh? He finds a little room, gets on his Harley, revs it up, throttles down eventually.
Keeps it on 2 wheels.
That's touchdown.
Run where they are not.
31-27. I mentioned I thought I won Saturday stud with the rushing yards category earlier. This is actually where I passed Benjamin Watson for first place.
I got to be honest.
You know, I love the Rocket, man. He runs the ball hard.
And Dari had the first pick. He made the best pick with his opportunity.
It doesn't always happen that way.
It does not.
There's a lot of pressure on the person picking first. Arkansas wins at 38-27, and like I said earlier, avoids utter disaster. Who's number 3 in the SEC as you see it right now? Really? Still, despite trailing Missouri State almost all night?
Yes.
Okay.
And look, the reason why I say this because Arkansas they came into this game, they are better controlling the time of possession. They lost time of possession. And this is something I wanted to see them go through at some point this year. Can they be able to make enough plays knowing that, hey, typically we have a conventional offense, 10 yards here, maybe 15 yards there. These guys made stops at crucial times without their key defensive back, Catalon, in the game. He's out for the remainder of the year. And their quarterback, KJ Jefferson, he made clutch throws and was able to mix up the run as well. I like Arkansas as the number 3 best team in the SEC.
I'm glad we're 3-0. We have so much work to do. I'm not going to be unhappy. I'm unhappy right now. I'll be happy once we get in there. We got a lot of work to do, but we're 3-0.
All right, Coach, thank you.
Thank you. Go Hawks.
Indeed they are. And take a look at Saturday's stud. Your victory Well, it goes to the individual who picked Arkansas's Rocket Sanders. 22 carries, 167 yards. Remember, the category was rushing yards on the day. I did finish last week, which is why I got to pick first this week. Unfortunately, made the right choice as Rocket gets me 3 points in total. Benjamin Watson second on the day with Zach Evans, Chris Doering third.